Blast me to Megaria! It's time for the Mad Merlin's Warhammer 40,000 Imperium journey. Issue 20, Lore, Painting and Playthrough. Hello and welcome back to the Mad Merlin's Imperium journey. So, we are doing issue 20 today. This is our next paint issue. And the paints included are Corn Red and Trollslayer Orange. So we'll get into what they do in the painting part of the video, or at least the Trollslayer Orange. The Corn Red is pretty straightforward and what we're going to be using it for, but I'll go through that in the paint guide in the magazine. But we've got some lore and some battle record stuff to go through, so let's take a look. Okay, so in this issue we get the Ultramarines Strike Force and Necrons Turn battle records. We learn about the Emperor, the Eldritch Artifice of the Necrons. We get technological boons. We learn to paint with Corn Red and Trollslayer Orange. We get our first Necron rules, which is the Reanimation Protocols, and we have a quick little playthrough in which you can try those out. So we've got our Space Marines Strike Force. So, like most Space Marine chapters, the Ultramarines rarely go to war in full force. Instead, they are divided into smaller strike forces, each capable of fighting alone and emerging victorious, no matter the odds. Space Marine Strike Forces are at the forefront of the Imperium's efforts to liberate the Pariah Nexus from Necron control. So this just allows you to handily write down your characters and unit names all in one place, so you don't have to flick through all your sheets to find them. And you even have a chance to name your spearhead. You can even make your own up, or what I've done, I've rolled on the chart. So my spearhead strike force is Spearhead Imperialis, which I think would be quite fitting because it's going to be a nice mixture of the different types of the Imperium. And then we got the different parts of our strike force. So for my chapter command, we have Marcius Venator, my captain, Varo Cassian, my first lieutenant, and we haven't got a lieutenant in Phobos armor yet. On the back, we've got Librarius, who is Ivan Agonor. Then we got our battle line squads. So we got our 3 Assault Intercessors, Squad Decius, first 5, Squad Sula, second 5, Squad Vinius, and our aggressors, Squad Crestus. We also have spaces for what we're getting in future issues, so the Outriders and the Invader ATV, the Firestrike Servo Turret, the Victrix Honor Guard, and our Infiltrators and Eliminators. So it's got 2 Infiltrator squads, so obviously they're going to be splitting the 10 we get into 2 squads of 5. Then we've got a record here of the campaign, so once we get more and more of the issue, you can start recording how well you've done in certain theatres of war for the battle zones. Next we have our Tomb World datasheet. So each and every Tomb World possesses a legion powerful enough to crush entire systems under its mechanical advance. Led by a Pharaon or Overlord, these mighty fighting forces are capable of suffering terrible defeats and returning once more to fight in the name of the ancient dynasty. So this just gives you a chance to, like the Space Marine one, name all your write down the names of all your units and also name your own Tomb World. So my Tomb World from the Celtic Dynasty is the Solemn Crypt, which I think is quite fitting because I'm going to be using quite a lot of Destroyer units and flayed ones. We got space to put Pharaon, who will be on the command barge, which we get in a later issue. Then on the back we got our Royal Court, so the Overlord, Cormac the Stormbringer, my Royal Warden, Zopkin Enofet, and my Technomancer, Zenakar the Voidwalker. We got my 2 units of Necron Warriors, the unit of 3, the Glistening Sentinels, and my unit of 10, the Gilded Scourge. We have space then to put the other warriors, the Immortals, Tomb Blades, and Deathmarks. We then have our Outcasts, so we got our Scorpec Lord, which we'll be getting in a future issue. We got my Scorpec Destroyers, the Death Heralds, the Locust Heavy Destroyer, again future issue, and my flayed ones, the Steel Raveners. For the Royal Court, we are also getting a Chronomancer, Plasmancer, and the Lichguard Bodyguard. And my Canoptic constructs, the only ones I got so far are my Bone Strippers, but I have just received my Canoptic Spider, so I'll be adding him once I fill out his datasheet. Then we're also getting another squad of Scarabs, Canoptic Wraiths, the Reanimator, and finally the Triarch Stalker, which is our big model. So our first bit of lore is for the Imperium faction, and it's all about the Emperor. So the Emperor is, as we all know, the embodiment of humanity and all what it could and can be. Years ago, he fought in the Great Crusade to unite the lost colonies of mankind, but when his son Horus, the Primarch of the Sons of Horus, turned against him, along with half of the other Primarchs, he fell in the final battle on Terra and has been interred in the Golden Throne ever since. It is due to the bargain price of 1,000 psychers every day, sacrificed in the Imperium Choir, that the Emperor's psychic might can keep the Astronomicon lit from his Golden Throne. And then we go into a bit of detail about the Astronomicon, the Emperor's presence, and the Guardians of the Throne Room. The Adeptus Custodes in all their golden glory. Our final bit of lore is the technological boons for the Necrons. So we got chronometrons, used by the Cryptex, which manipulate time, dispersion shields used by the Lich Guard, and we got the detail about how the Cryptex are endlessly inventing new ways for the Necrons to make war. So, Necron science has given birth to myriad technologies, all far in advance of anything possessed by the lesser races. Nobles, Cryptex, and Necron Elite possess eldritch machinery that can alter the flow of time, turn incoming fire aside, and transport entire armies across the galaxy. So on the back we've got some of the more intricate weapons of the Necrons. We've got the reanimation beams from the Reanimators, which we'll be getting later on. The quantum shielding, which protects stuff such as the Triarch Stalkers. And we've got the translocator pylons, which helps warp units across the battlefield. Right, so here we have our paint guide for issue 20. So Corn Red is pretty straightforward. We are just painting all the areas that has rope and any of the weapon glow vent areas. So the plasma pistols and the Volkite pistol are all getting a coat of Corn Red. I might have to go back and repaint some of mine because I've done them blue already. And Trollslayer Orange, it's mainly going to be used at this point to add effects to our containers. So I'll be showing you how to do that just shortly. But here's our completed gallery of what all the Corn Red areas would look like. So you've got your plasma pistols, your Volkite pistol, your captain there with his tassels, and the same tassels on the aggressors. Alright, I'll just get my painting stuff and I'll show you how to do that tutorial. Okay, we're ready to show you how to do the painting tutorial for the rust effects. Now, rust effects can be a fairly easy thing to paint, so that's why they're giving us this nice little advanced guide this early on. So, the paint we need is just Trollslayer Orange. So we'll get a nice brush full on our palette there, wash off our brush, and with this paint we want to water it down a little bit more than normal. So we'll add 1, 2, I think 3 brushfuls of water, and we'll slowly mix it in together until we get a nice watered down Trollslayer Orange. So we'll get a nice thin point to our brush by twisting our brush backwards and forwards like that. And onto our model. any areas you've put watermarks like here and here, we're going to put the Trolls Layer Orange just into the center, like so. We can even put it into recesses at the bottom of our container. Might need to build up the layers by doing a couple coats, but you should get a fairly good effect straight off. But there we go. So that's how we do it. And as always with doing effects like this, less is more. So don't do every area. Like, say on this side, I'll just do one there, do a little bit up there. I'll skip that one and that one. I'll do this one down here. So run a little bit into the recess and then where it's dripping down over. There, that gives it quite a nice little effect. So that's how you do rust effects on your terrain. So do that on all the other containers that you've done watermarks on. You might be able to work it into the black, but you'd have to build up quite a few more layers. So all that's left to do now is have our final playthrough and our first bit of advanced rules. So here we have our quick battle play setup. Excuse me. It's just going to be a short, small battle to help you learn the Reanimation Protocol special rule. So we've got 2 Scorpion Destroyers, 5 Necron Warriors with Gore's Reapers, 2 Aggressors, and 3 Assault Intercessors. So the Reanimation Protocol special rule is basically allowing Necron units to get back up. What you do when a unit suffers wounds, you create a dice pool for that unit equal to the total number of wounds you've lost. You roll those dice. For each result of a 5 or a 6, you get to add 1 wound back to a model that has been destroyed. If you have multiple models destroyed, you can't add units with only a few wounds. You have to use all the wounds. Any leftovers are lost. So for example, I'll give you an example as we play through this little playthrough. So other rules you get is a updated full rules reference to include grenades from the last playthrough. And so this is just a quick little playthrough to learn you the rules. Total War. In the shadow of the Necrons' obsidian tomb structures, the Ultramarines press their assault, attempting to destroy the remaining Necrons. This task has proven difficult. However, for the Necrons are capable of suffering catastrophic damage, only to rise once more and rejoin the fight. The Space Marines must bring their firepower to bear swiftly, or risk being overrun once more. Mission Briefings. Amidst shattered ruins, both Necron and human in origin, the fractured remnants of Ultramarines and Necron's forces do battle. Both forces seek only to utterly destroy one another and grind the remains of their opponents to dust. Scorpion Destroyers, Necrons. Destroy the living. Drawn by the escalating violence, Scorpion Destroyers stalk their organic foes, their hatred of the living driving them to ever greater acts of violence. Primaris Aggressors, Space Marines, purge the Xenos. The only cure for a Xenos invasion is cleansing fire. Aggressors have been deployed to the front lines to help their battle brothers annihilate the Necrons. So as I've already shown, this is our setup. So our Space Marines go first, and we skip the command phase. There's nothing to have command abilities yet. So we go straight to our movement. So our Space Marines have Assault Intercessors have a move of 6, so we'll move them forwards. Oops. And he'll be in the middle. And our aggressors have a move of 5, so they'll be just back there. So next we're going to take a few shots. So we get D6 shots for each of our aggressors' Flamestorm gauntlets, for a total of 7, 5, 6, 7. So it's strength 4, toughness of Scorpion Destroyers are 5. We want 5s. Oops. And we've only scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I've lost 1 dice, so re-roll. No, we've only scored a single wound. Scorpion Destroyers then get a save of 3+, which they make. We're then going to unload our pistols at the Necron Warriors. Hitting on 3s, 2 hits, and wounding on 4s. No wounds. For the sake of it, we're going to say we've got 2 wounds. So our Necrons will roll their saves, -1, so 5 up instead of 4 up. And luckily, 1's gone through. That means 1 warrior is destroyed. Now, reanimation protocols will kick in. So we generate a dice pool. We've lost 1 wound, so we've got 1 dice. We'd then roll that dice at the end of the phase. And for each 5+ we get, we add back 1 model to the unit. So the unit can be anywhere that is within in 2 inches, so unit coherency of its own unit, and as long as it stays out of engagement range of other units, unless that its unit is already in engagement range of. So we could put our Necron there, but to make the Space Marines a little harder to get to, we're going to put him back where he came from. So now it's the assault phase. So our aggressors will charge the Scorpion Destroyers. 5. I don't think that's going to be enough. Nope. That's a failed charge. Our Assault Intercessors a little bit closer. 9. They're in. So we have 2 attacks each for our Assault Intercessors, +1 for Chainswords for a total of 3 attacks each. 3's to hit. Oh, not much better. 5 hits, and strength 4, tough 4, 4's to wound. Nothing, okay. 5 Necrons strike back, 3's to hit, and 4's to wound. Scoring 1 wound, 3 up save, made it. On to the Necrons' turn. So our Scorpion Destroyers, just going to move forwards 6, and then they'll charge the aggressors. Wow, why couldn't my aggressors roll that? They actually have enough to go all the way over and behind, but they don't need to. So our Scorpion Destroyers, we have 1 with the Reap Blade, which is 3 attacks. 3's to hit, 1 hit, and strength +2, so 7, toughness 5, 3's. Oh, didn't wound. And then we got 3 attacks +1 for the Threshers. Again, 3's to hit, and strength 5, tough 4, freeze to wound. 1 wound with -3, so we have a 6-up save. He makes it! Way! And now the Space Marines get to choose a unit, so we'll go with the Assault Intercessors, because you know the aggressors are going to be safe. So 9 dice again. Freeze to hit. Hey, everything hit. That's how Assault Intercessors disco. And force a wound. 4 wounds with a -1, so 5-up saves on the warriors. 2 made, 2 dead. So we'll create our Reanimation Protocol pool, but it doesn't kick in until the end of the phase. So now it's the Necrons' turn to choose a unit, so they've got their warriors left to attack. 2 hits, and no wounds. And all what's left is for the aggressors to attack. So the aggressors get 3 attacks each, and they are a -1 to hit, so it would be freeze. So those become 5s become a 4, and the 4 becomes a 3. 3 hits. And strength ×2 for melee. So strength 8, toughness 5 for the Scorpion Destroyers, so freeze. 2 wounds with a -3, so we got 6-up saves. 1 makes it, and 1 takes 2 wounds. Oof. Okay, when does the turn end? Until 1 player has no models remaining. So, end of the phase, we've got reanimation protocols to make for our Necrons. Hey, 1 back. So, it's now on to the Space Marines next turn. So everything's in combat, so that means the Necron player chooses the first fight. So we'll go with the Destroyers. Reap Blade. All hit. Freeze. And this is where it's going to get painful because it is a -4, so there's no armor save. And 3 damage a pop. So 3 wounds each, 3 dead warriors. So they can now consolidate. 3 inches. They can pile in, but as they've already fought this turn, they can't fight. So this model is now dead. He can't be reanimated anymore. So now it's the Space Marines' turn to choose a unit to fight. They've only got the 1 unit left. So 3 sets of freeze. Ouch. Not very good. 4s. 2 5-up saves. 2 dead Necrons. The warriors get to fight back. 2 hits, 1 wound, and a 3+ save made. 2 reanimation protocol rolls. Nope, they're dead. Now on to the Necrons' turn. So all we're going to do is charge. Reef Blade. All hit. All wound, and that will be 3 dead Assault Intercessors. Splat. So that close range with the Necron Destroyers there and the AP, in fact, it was only ever going to be the Necron victory. Right, final thoughts, and we'll see what's in our next Imperium. So there we have issue 20 of Imperium. So we got a nice little advanced painting technique in the form of adding rust effects to our containers, and also used on any other terrain we get in future issues. We also added a bit of new colour to our ultramarines, if, unlike me, you haven't already. But I've added Mephiston red to my ultramarines for their third company markings. But Corn red is a nice dark red. It'll be used on the Skitarii models that we're getting in our next Imperium. So issues 21 and 22 is a set of 10 Skitarii Rangers. So in that issue, you get your 10 Skitarii Rangers, and the build guide requires you to build as they are depicted there. So you get your data tether, your arc maul and phosphor pistol, a arc rifle, a arquebus, and then the remaining guys have galvanic rifles. But as I'll detail in the next video, you can build them however you want. So that's everything. All that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you'd like to help the channel out, there's of course all the links in the description down below. And I will see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.